Lakers fans, let me tell you something. Nights like these make it impossible to ignore what has been right in front of us for a long time. This team is fighting, they are competing, they're trying to squeeze every ounce out of what they have, but the truth keeps showing up in flashing lights. Los Angeles needs athleticism, and it needs it badly. There is no way around it anymore. When you look at the landscape of the league, when you watch the way young and explosive teams run the floor, it becomes obvious how much the Lakers struggle to match that energy. And this is not about tearing everything down or pretending that the roster is hopeless. It is about accepting that you need players who can give you burst, length, defensive versatility, and the ability to create something without relying on the same 2 or 3 names every night. Every time this roster faces a team full of quick wings, full of guys who fly around and chase every loose ball like it's Game 7, you see the same dilemma unfold. The offense becomes predictable, the defense becomes stretched out, and suddenly every missed shot feels like a transition opportunity for the opponent. It does not matter how talented your top players are if the rest of the roster cannot keep up with the athletic demands of modern basketball. This is why adding at least a couple of high-level wings feels like a necessity. Not just anybody, not just a body to fill space, but players who can defend multiple positions, attack the rim, and make plays without being spoon-fed by the stars. Because when every possession relies on Luka, LeBron, or Oscar creating something out of nothing, it becomes too easy for defenses to load up, switch everything, and dare the Lakers to beat them with speed. And speed is not something the roster has right now. And the funny thing is, none of this is new. This has been a topic since the offseason, since preseason, since opening night, and it keeps returning every time the Lakers run into a young team that just sprints them into the ground. You watch those matchups, and you can almost predict what will happen. The opponent pushes the pace, shoots early threes, crashes the offensive glass, wins those loose ball battles, and forces the Lakers to play catch-up instead of dictating anything. When the Lakers control the tempo, they can hang with anybody. When the game becomes a track meet, they fall behind quickly because they simply do not have the personnel to answer that kind of speed. And this is why the conversation around potential additions never stops. It is not because people love to fantasize about trades or shuffle names for entertainment. It is because every season exposes the same weaknesses, and you cannot ignore patterns that repeat themselves over and over. If you want to compete for championships, and that is the standard in Los Angeles, always, you have to fix the holes that keep showing up. No one celebrates first-round exits. No one hangs banners for reaching the conference finals. The only goal here is holding the trophy at the end of the year, and unless this roster gets more dynamic athletes on the wings, that mission becomes a lot harder. Facing the defending champions should have been a measuring stick, a moment to understand where the Lakers stand. Instead, it became a reminder that athleticism matters more than ever. It became a reminder that when the Lakers go up against teams that run, attack, and swarm defensively, things get difficult quickly. And sure, blowouts happen in the NBA. Every team has nights where nothing works. But when the same style of opponent keeps causing the same style of loss, you can't chalk it up to a bad night anymore. It becomes part of your identity, part of what teams scout when they face you. And it goes deeper than the starting lineup. Even with everyone healthy, even with LeBron back on the floor giving you power, rebounding, and defensive leadership, the team still needs one more true wing who can cover ground, take on tough matchups, hit open shots, and bring life to the perimeter. Because when you look around the league, you see how valuable these swingmen are. Teams with long, active players who can switch on to guards or forwards are the ones who survive in the postseason. You cannot rely on only 1 or 2 guys to plug all the holes every night. The Lakers have too many one-dimensional pieces, guys who excel at one thing, but cannot provide enough balance on both ends. And that is where upgrading becomes crucial. You're not looking for flashes. You're looking for consistency, for someone who fills the gaps the roster has struggled with for far too long. Someone who brings the energy, the hustle, the foot speed needed to keep up with modern offenses. When you watch teams like Oklahoma City send wave after wave of pressure, you see exactly what the Lakers lack. Quick decisions, quick recoveries, constant movement. Those things matter, and right now the other side has them while Los Angeles does not. And it is not just about this season. Even when the LeBron era eventually winds down, the team needs players who can carry that two-way responsibility on the wings. Relying solely on shooting or solely on defense is not enough anymore. You need players who can fly around the court, dive for loose balls, protect the paint, chase shooters off the line, and still be threats offensively. You need that spark, that fire, that edge that young, athletic players naturally bring. Without that, the Lakers will continue to struggle against certain types of opponents no matter how talented the top of the roster is. The truth is, it only takes a few of the right guys to completely change the dynamic of this team. You add one player who brings elite length and energy, you add another who can stay in front of quick guards, and suddenly every possession looks different. Suddenly the Lakers can push the pace instead of defending it all game. Suddenly the defense can get stops without having to overload one side of the floor. And that changes everything for the Stars too, because when they do not have to carry the entire load, their impact becomes even greater. And this is why every conversation keeps circling back to the same theme. Athletic wings, two-way contributors, players who bring speed, toughness, and defensive versatility. Until those pieces arrive, the Lakers will keep running into the same wall. The foundation is there, the stars are there, the potential is there, but the roster still needs those missing ingredients that bring everything together. And until that happens, every game against a young, fast opponent will keep highlighting the same weaknesses the Lakers have been trying to outrun for years. And when you look deeper into how these games unfold, you start to see how small details turn into major problems for the Lakers. It is not simply about missing shots or having an off night. It is about how quickly a game can spiral when you do not have enough players who can cover ground, react instantly, or turn broken possessions into momentum. Every time the Lakers fall behind to a young athletic team, it begins the same way. The opponent gets out in transition, forces mismatches, cuts behind defenders, and recovers on defense before the Lakers can even set their footing. And because Los Angeles lacks the same foot speed and vertical burst, those little moments pile up, turning close games into uphill climbs before halftime. This is why the front office's future decisions matter so much. They cannot rely on hope. They cannot assume that effort alone will solve the issue. Effort needs help. Scheme needs help. Even elite players need help. And that help comes in the form of wings who can run, jump, defend, switch, and fight for every ball like it is life or death. With the right pieces, the Lakers could transform overnight into a team that pushes the pace instead of constantly reacting to it. They could dictate games with pressure instead of absorbing wave after wave of attacks. But without those athletes, they're stuck operating at a disadvantage every time the tempo increases. Even when you think about lineups, it becomes clear how limited the options are. The coaching staff is often forced to choose between offense and defense because too few players provide both. You get shooting, but then lose strength at the point of attack. You get rebounding, but lose the ability to chase guards off screens. You get size, but lose mobility on switches. It turns every rotation into a puzzle that never quite has all its pieces. And when a team begins every night knowing they are already giving up speed and length, it becomes exhausting for the Stars who have to carry constant responsibility on both ends. The encouraging part is that LeBron's return changes some of that. His presence alone gives the roster more balance, rebounds, transition strength, and leadership on the defensive end. You can see how much smoother things look when he anchors possessions. But even he cannot cover every weakness. Asking him to make up for all the gaps on the wing is not sustainable, especially at this stage of his career. LeBron can elevate a team, but he cannot single-handedly solve structural issues that have lingered season after season. If he is going to help this roster push toward a deep playoff run, he needs teammates around him who can match his drive, his force, and his motor. And that brings us back to the younger players. There's real hope when you watch certain guys off the bench. You see flashes of what the Lakers could be if they had more athletes who attack with purpose, defend with energy, and play without hesitation. You look at moments where rookies apply pressure on the ball, turn defense into fast breaks, or recover on screens with speed, and you start imagining how different everything could look with 2 or 3 more players who share those traits. The foundation is not empty. It just needs reinforcement. This is why so many fans keep pointing to the draft and asking for wings who are long, quick, and fearless. Even if they are not polished scorers, their athleticism alone fills huge gaps for a team built around playmakers and scorers. A player who can take on the toughest matchups, rotate with purpose, or jump passing lanes changes the tone of a game without needing the ball. A player who runs hard in transition forces defenses to react. A player who rebounds outside his area gives the Lakers extra possessions they rarely get right now. One or two of those guys can shift the entire identity of the team. And when you look at the bigger picture, this is not only about surviving the regular season. This is about the postseason, where every possession becomes physical, every miss becomes dangerous, and every slow rotation gets punished by elite teams. The Lakers cannot rely on talent alone to win in those moments. They need the speed to keep up with younger teams, the strength to fight inside, and the versatility to switch without being exposed. Until they find that balance, they will continue to hit the same ceiling. They can hang with anyone on their best nights, but the margin for error is too thin. The good news is that these problems have solutions. They're not mysteries. They're not impossible hurdles. The Lakers simply need to commit to adding players who bring the traits they lack. Athletes who can pressure the ball, protect the paint from the perimeter, and turn defense into offense. Guys who bring energy without needing plays drawn for them. Guys who fit next to stars, not guys who force stars to overcompensate. Once those players arrive, everything else starts to make sense. The rotations stabilize. The pace balances out. The defense stops giving up early runs. And the stars are free to do what they do best. Until then, every game against a fast and aggressive team will feel like a reminder of what is missing. But with the right additions, this team can look completely different, not just this season, but for years to come. The talent is already here. Now it needs the athletic support to unlock its full potential. And when you project forward into seasons beyond this one, the importance becomes even more obvious. The future of the team cannot be built around slow-footed lineups or mismatched defensive assignments. Luka Doncic is too talented to be paired with a roster that cannot match his tempo when a game calls for it. And if the team wants to transition smoothly into the era after LeBron James eventually steps away, they need players who can fill those physical roles he has carried for so long. They need wings who can guard up, guards who can move laterally at a high level, forwards who can switch without hesitation, and athletes who can keep the pace alive even without a superstar forcing it. That is what sustainable teams look like. That is what contenders are built from. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, whispers are swirling around the NBA, and the latest buzz has sent shockwaves through Los Angeles and Milwaukee alike. Sources close to team circles are suggesting that the Los Angeles Lakers might be gearing up for a major shakeup, with the latest chatter centering on a rising star from the Milwaukee Bucks. Insiders hint that this player, who has been quietly making waves in Milwaukee, could be the newest addition to the Lakers roster, a move that would instantly ignite excitement among the purple and gold faithful. While neither organization has confirmed anything publicly, the mere mention of the possibility has sent social media into a frenzy. Lakers fans are already imagining how this acquisition could transform their lineup, blending seasoned leadership with a fresh, dynamic talent capable of impacting both ends of the floor. Meanwhile, Bucks supporters are left speculating about what losing such a player could mean for their own championship aspirations. Could this be the start of a domino effect in trades, or just another rumor feeding the off-season fire? The player in question has been praised for versatility, scoring ability, and court vision, qualities that have made him a standout in Milwaukee's rotation. Observers note that his skill set could be a perfect fit alongside the Lakers' existing core, potentially creating a new offensive spark and bolstering their defensive schemes. The Lakers' front office has remained tight-lipped, fueling speculation and adding an aura of mystery to the unfolding story. If the deal does materialize, the Lakers would not only gain a talented player, but also send a message to the league. They are ready to be bold, proactive, and aggressive in pursuit of another championship run. Rumors like these tend to swirl every season, but the convergence of timing, player potential, and team need has given this particular story an unusual weight. Analysts and fans alike are dissecting every tweet, every hint dropped by insiders, and every subtle signal from team officials. As the buzz continues to grow, the question on everyone's mind is simple. Will this rumored transfer become reality, or is it another tantalizing what-if destined to linger in speculation? Whatever happens, one thing is certain. This potential move has captured the imagination of the NBA world and has Lakers fans dreaming about a lineup that could once again dominate headlines. The league may be on the brink of a surprise that shakes up the balance of power, and the name of this Milwaukee standout has become the centerpiece of that conversation. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.